89.7 Power FM. I was supposed to play. Hold on just a second. This is professional radio right now. There we go.
This is what happens when you talk after 9 a.m., Taylor.
Yeah. No, I'm in the zone from 6 to 9, but then I just shut things down. Hey, the Power FM morning show just ended, but we are back because Kevin from Disciple finally dropped in. Thanks for dropping by after the show. Couldn't you have been here at like 6 a.m. with us?
I could have, I guess.
But I don't know. I don't know how well that would have gone over. Would you have remembered anything that we talked about at 6 a.m.?
No, not at all. Not at all. I would have been working on 2 hours of sleep, I think, at 6 a.m., so that would have been interesting.
Awesome. Well, Kevin is in here because the guys in Disciple are in town for the City Rockfest tour, huge lineup, and unfortunately that show is sold out, so if you don't have tickets already, then you're kind of boned. But I know you were saying that a lot of times you guys kind of do an after show.
Yeah, we're just talking about it on the way over here because a lot of our fans just get in the car and drive and don't really pay attention if it's sold out or not and just show up at the show. And so we were talking about maybe grabbing the acoustic guitar and hanging out in the parking lot, or if there's a pavilion nearby. I'm not exactly 100% sure about that. But either way, we'll play some songs in the parking lot for people and hang out with people that don't get to get in.
That's really cool.
Those people that were super, super excited about seeing this lineup and, your tickets got canceled or you didn't get to get them because you just barely missed out.
You should
come and hang out anyway.
Hand them to somebody.
Yes.
Bring them by the church so somebody can sell them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going on at the Pavilion in Louisville tonight. If you weren't aware of that, I know that we've done several shows out there, but City Rockfest tour at the Pavilion in Louisville tonight.
Yeah. So, Kevin, what else are you guys up to? Because you've got obviously the show going on, but I'm sure you're constantly doing new music.
We are. We started doing what was a B-sides project originally, and for our Attack album just came out in September, and so we weren't in any hurry to put anything out, but we started working on this B-sides project. We're now independent, so we get to kind of do whatever we want. We love doing B-side stuff.
Yeah.
Just for people who really love the band and want to hear, hey, these are the songs that didn't make the record, blah blah blah. And being independent now, we can do that. We don't have to ask for permission. It's just like, we're going to go record these songs, and that's it.
We do what we want.
That's awesome.
It's pretty nice. But so as we were recording these songs, and it just goes to show whenever you start putting time and effort into certain songs, they just started growing and blossoming, and we were like, well, this is not a B-sides project. And so like we've totally changed our minds, and even though it's going to be like a 6-song EP, we've decided to stop calling it a B-sides project and like give it its own name, because we're like really investing like a lot of emotional energy into the songs, and they're growing and becoming things that we really love and are proud of. So we're actually just going to release a new EP is what we're going to call it. So, but that's how it started. It started as like, these are the 6 songs. There was more than 6, but these are the 6 songs that we really loved, that it hurt us to not put them on the record, and now we're fleshing them out and doing it, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Very, very cool. And I've been seeing you guys talking about this on social media a lot. You have the Bus Banter podcast. So what? That's correct. Now I have to confess, I haven't actually listened to an episode. So tell me what you guys talk about, what it's all about. It's basically like what we're doing right now for an hour and a half, except that we're all really close friends with each other. Yeah. And so we all think each other, the other person is really funny. So even when they're not really, I guess, like some people that guy wasn't funny, but we're still like laughing. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is for about an hour and 20 minutes. The behind the scenes inside jokes of Disciple. Tons of inside jokes, tons of silliness. Josiah, our guitar player, he's a hilarious dude. He is just looking for the punchline the entire time. You can't even finish a sentence, and he's just looking for something, to twist your words into some kind of punchline. So awesome. That's how it is for an hour and 20 minutes. So who's the funniest guy in the band? Is Josiah just because he's constantly looking for it, or do you have someone who's got better percentage shots? If you listen to the next podcast, we debate that. Okay, awesome. Nice. Yeah. I might have to look that up. Put a poll on there and poll the audience. We debate that very topic. Who's Excellent. The funniest guy in the band? Excellent. Well, this is also, because we were talking earlier on the morning show about the new lineup for Audio Adrenaline. They've gone through several lineup changes recently, and it's interesting the pushback they've gotten.
And I contrast that with you guys, who you have had a lot of members shake up over a while. And unless I'm just living under a rock, I haven't seen anybody like, oh, it's not the same Disciple, you should call him a different name. And I wonder if I'd love to get kind of your perspective on those shifting lineups and kind of what that's like.
Yeah, I mean, there are some hardcore fans that really miss the guys in the first lineup.
Okay.
And I miss them. Frankly, I've loved all the guys that have been in the band over the years, and hate it, when somebody has to go. But I mean, the reality is, if for people that are fans of bands, when they don't really know much about what it means to be in a band, what it looks like to be in a band, it's really hard. It's not an easy job, and there's not a lot of money in it. And
yeah.
So, when you decide you want to be an adult,
start a family,
yeah.
You're like, you marry me, but I don't make any money.
Oh, by the way, I'd love for you to spend the rest of your life with me. I will bring very little to the financial table, and I'll be gone most of the time.
Yeah.
So
that's a hard sell.
Yeah, and so it's not an easy thing to keep people around for a long time. I mean, we really are in this we want to see people, we want to see their lives be changed by the gospel. I mean, we really bought in to traveling and making Jesus the focal point of why we're doing what we're doing. And so it's hard. That being said, God has always paid our bills and brought the right people at the right time. So to answer your question, I feel for them because I know that they're facing a lot of pushback right now.
Yeah.
I actually know Adam Agee and am friends with him, and I know David Stovall, who's one of their new members, and Jason, our bass player, is really great friends with him, was actually just writing a song with him via computer online.
Okay.
Jason was on our bus, Dave was wherever he was, and they were writing a song together, just like day before yesterday. So yeah, we're good friends with the guys in Audio Adrenaline, good friends with the 2.0, as you called it.
Yeah.
We just did a tour with them, Kevin Max and all that. So I feel for them, man. I know they're getting a little pushback, but I know it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
As soon as the music comes out, the mouths will be shut because it'll be great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a solid lineup. I mean, Adam's a great vocalist, and we were talking about this. Dave played with Waverly for the longest time, and every member in that band was so talented, and they're all
over the place now. Matt's with House of Heroes. They've got Teddy and Family Force 5, so they're kind of all over the map, too. And I feel like musicians, especially recently, we've seen a lot of crossover from hopping from band to band as people just kind of shift around and lives change and
I was
life
gonna say, you guys,
that's our MO.
You guys are like a super group now.
Well, thanks.
I would call, because you've got Philmont, you've got I Am Empire, you've got High Flight Society.
That's right.
Is that everybody represented? Disciple, obviously.
Yeah, our drummer used to play in a band called After Edmund.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like
I
we're
knew there's one
missing
more.
one in there.
Yeah, I feel so bad because I love After Edmund.
That's one of
Taylor's
Taylor's favorites, actually.
No, it's cool. I'm definitely surrounded by 4 guys who are far more talented than I am. And that's, I know that, and that was intentional.
That's good.
Jason from High Flight Society, and who is and I mean, I'm not just throwing these compliments around. This is really how I feel. He's a far better singer than I'll ever be. He can sing like 4 notes higher than I can.
Yeah.
And I called him and I just said, "Hey, man, we've got a job opening and wanted to call you and talk to you about it." And he's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Can you play bass?" And he said, "No." And
of all the things that I can do, that's not one of them.
I was like, "Can you play bass guitar?" He's like, "No." I said, "You think you could learn?" He's like, "Sure," like that. And I said, "Because really, what I want you for is I want your vocals in our band. And I'd love to do some trading off and have you sing some harmonies with me." And he's an amazing songwriter as well, and his imprint really showed up on this last album. So. Yeah, that was one of those things. It was like, I knew there was a super talented guy out there that wasn't, doing anything, and man, I'd love for him to, be in my band. And Jason, like I said, he's doing a solo project as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just surrounded by guys like that. And Josiah and Andrew are phenomenal writers. They're constantly writing, even when there's no point to be writing. They're just constantly doing that, and so very blessed and very, very happy with the guys that I'm surrounded by.
Awesome. Well, it's definitely worked out for you guys. Once again, on the phone with Kevin from Disciple, and I guess as we're wrapping up here,
Well, not necessarily.
We're not on the phone. He's actually sitting right next to me. You did.
Oh, goodness.
But it's okay because we didn't make that pot of coffee this morning.
I haven't had nearly enough coffee.
And he's cracking up back there. He's like, he's pretending to do his little hand phone and laughing at you behind your back. You can't tell. But
We've done so many phone interviews. That's just kind of my go-to phrase. And
yeah, so we got extra lucky because Kevin, they're in town, and so he just decided to swing by.
Yeah. So anyway, not on the phone with Kevin. He's actually sitting in front of a microphone across from me here. What's the best way for folks to get in touch with you, man?
Facebook.com/DiscipleRocks. We also do a Bible study on our message boards every week. It's all week long, every day.
Yeah, by the way, that is so cool to see. I mean, and you guys are like pouring into that too. It's not just like kind of set it up and let them go. I think that's really cool, you guys.
Thanks, man. Yeah, well, I started it. I was thinking about a lot of the people that receive Christ at our shows and rededicate their life to God at our shows, and wanted just kind of a way to connect with newer Christians and really go through the Bible and have a forum where people can ask questions and not feel intimidated, because honestly that's what it is when you go into a Bible study and you don't know anything, you don't have anything to bring to the table, you kind of feel intimidated. You know? And I wanted to have a place where people could just come in and not feel like they're asking a stupid question, because when you're a new Christian, it's okay to not know.
Yeah.
It's it. And so we wanted to really have that welcome place. So I went in, feeling like I was going to be helping people learn more about the Bible, and I was going to be sharing my knowledge or whatever.
Yeah.
It turned out to be like there's these brainiac Greek, Hebrew disciple fans that go to Bible school out there that just drop all this knowledge on the Bible study, and I just get on there and read what they wrote, and I'm like, oh, wow, it's amazing. So I started it thinking that I was going to be sharing things with people, and ended up, like I'm learning far more than I'm ever teaching.
Awesome.
I love that concept because as a band, you have a really great platform to be able to reach people through your message and your music, but you're also constantly moving around from place to place. So it's like you'll do a show, you'll give a message, you'll have the invitation, and people will accept that. But then it's like, but then you leave, and it's like, where do they...
We're hit and run evangelists.
Right. But this is a great way for you to be able to do that follow-up with those people and like stay connected. And I think that's probably a really... a really strong point in your community as far as like your fans and things, because I've heard a lot of people talking about how cool it is that you guys do that. And I've always been just a big fan of the fact that you're able to, with all you have going on, you really keep in touch that way. You're like very on point. Like you said, you do it every day, which is pretty awesome. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, it is available. You can check it out from there.
We post links
website.
Once a week on our Facebook page, and the conversation is on our website, our message forums, and the conversation lasts all week. So this week we're doing Romans chapter 5 and the last two chapters of Isaiah, chapters 65 and 66 of Isaiah. So we'll start a new Old Testament book next week. That's how it goes. We're just
very cool.
Finish one, start another one. Sometimes we have like read books together instead of
Bible. Going through like a whole...
We just read a book together or whatever. So we switch it up. You never know what's going to happen.
Awesome. Well, as we're running out of time here, do you have any parting words, Kevin?
Wisdom. At 9 a.m.
Say the wisest thing you've ever said.
On the spot
right now.
wisdom. Go.
Right. Man, I just reading Romans, so much every verse is like faith.
Yeah.
And I'm just reminded of how much I just don't believe in a prayer of salvation anymore, that I believe in faith. Even Romans 10:9, if you confess that Jesus is Lord, this is prayer, but believe in your heart. That's the key right there.
Yeah.
And this new way of God making us right with Jesus is not about keeping the law, but it's about faith in Christ, as Romans 5 says. And we were talking about it on the bus the other night. I said, even as New Testament Christians, sometimes we say we believe that, but we really don't. If we're struggling with a sin, we think in our minds, just naturally we think, man, once I conquer this sin that I'm struggling with, then God's really going to like me. Once I conquer that, and we think that. We think, man, I gotta fix this area of my life,
But that point's going to come, and then you're going to have something else come up, because that's the way life is. Because God wants you to stay dependent on Him.
And well, if you're focusing on that, fixing that one area, you're basically saying, I believe that living by the law makes me a good person. I
Exactly.
believe
Right.
that following the law makes me a good person. It's actually the only way we can conquer sin. You know, some opponents of what I'm about to say, would say, oh, well, then that just gives you just believe in faith, and that just gives you a license to do whatever you want. And it's actually the exact opposite of that. I believe that it's only through faith in Jesus that I can conquer sin. Whatever sin I'm struggling with, that I'm utterly dependent on him and utterly hopeless to conquer it on my own, that I need him. I need a relationship with Jesus. And the last point to that, having a daughter like learn my language and learn how to speak like me, she learned that just by hanging out with me. And God was showing me this one day. He's like,
That's
your
awesome.
daughter learned this complex, amazing, beautiful miracle that she could not have learned on her own, not because she studied hard, not because you sent her to school, not because she fasted and prayed, but simply because she was near you. And he was like, that's what I want you to do with me.
That's like the best testimony that you can possibly have.
Yeah. So he just wants us near him. And we're near him, we'll conquer whatever is in our way. Why? Because we start to act like him. We start to talk like him. We start to pick up his accent and do what he would do. Jesus even said it in John chapter 6. He said, I see what the Father's doing, and I do it. And I think that's what God wants for us.
That is awesome. Kevin from Disciple dropping some wisdom here on Power FM.
Huge wisdom at 9:30 a.m.
If you've
You're
got
welcome.
tickets, they'll be out at the Pavilion in Louisville tonight. Details on the bulletin board page at kvrk.com. Also watch our Facebook page. We've got a lot of fans who are not going to be able to go, but they do have tickets. They're kind of putting them up there saying, hey, if you want these, you can get a hold of them. So thank you so much for stopping by, Kevin.
You're welcome, man. Thank you.